First, just a little bit about my project. I'm a human biologist, and I work with the Maya people in Latin America, mainly in Mexico. This project came to life in 2012 when everybody was talking about the Mayan calendar and the end of the world prophecy. And unfortunately, everybody was talking about the Maya because of the wrong aspects, and most people thought that the Maya people were extinct. So I got really upset with that, and it dawned to me that my research of 15 years was not making the slightest amount of difference to anybody outside the little group of people who are interested on the Maya, because it wouldn't go out there. So what was my point of trying, writing papers for nobody actually to read, and especially when the Maya people were totally not benefiting from all the work we were doing. So we start thinking, how can we translate our boring papers into something that the public in general feels attached to? And it came out very easily because we've been working, as I said, with the Maya groups and active research in Mexico and in Guatemala for many, many years. And we created a big network of researchers, Maya communities, and lots of artists, lots of reporters, lots of journalists, lots of activists, because the Maya are, for many, many centuries, being a very deprived group, very, very subjugated, politically oppressed. And of course, that raises activism among the Maya groups that have a little bit of possibility of having their say. So the idea was, why can we not do photo exhibitions and multimedia exhibitions that show the work of the Maya artists and show the work of the reporters and the work of the activist groups, to then portray the research we do? So we created this little sentence here, that the Maya project is a blend of art and academic research that portrays the biosocial realities of the Maya people. We were finalists on the Enterprise Awards last April, and we got a Kickstarter project funded, and we got some enterprise money, so we have a book outside, and we keep very active networks, internationally speaking. It is an interdisciplinary project, which we benefit from people from totally different areas than my human biology area. And this is what you see of the website. The website shows this photo, which is our basic photo that no matter where you are and no matter in what kind of social media platform we are, you see parts of this mural. This is the history of the Maya, painted by one of the Maya artists, and since the beginning of the creation of people, that of course, being a Maya, people came from corn, all the way to the 21st century, where these Maya ladies here are using cell phones and iPads and computers. So it's a great photo because you can get bits of this mural to any part to illustrate anything you want from your research. And then we have a little logo here that it's very handy when you want to have a little bit of an identity that you cannot spread a lot. So, so we created this, and of course you have to brand this. I went to a lot of talks about IP claims and intellectual property, and I was always offbeat because most of the things that we go through are about commercializing your ideas, and this is a social enterprise project, which means that we are not developing a product to make money. We are dealing with poor people that are marginalized, which means it's not a sexy topic of research in any way. That's why you have so many more archaeologists working with the Maya people from the classical times and in all those pyramids around Mesoamerica, because it's so much cooler to show all those big warriors and all the human sacrifices. And I'm dealing with really poor people and destituted that they just don't. So it's politically dangerous. There's a couple of colleagues a couple of years ago in Guatemala that were decapitated because they were mingling too much around on the Maya affairs. So it's not totally safe. So it was very difficult to find a way of first putting these on the ground, and now we want to brand these without creating any social disturbance that end up with somebody putting us a bomb in our hotel room or something, which it would be unfortunate. So we start thinking, what are the main characteristics of the project that we want to show to the world? And then we have to be consistent. We want to show that the project has personality. And by having personality, we have to take into account the human characteristics of the project. We are dealing with people who suffer. We have to make the public in general be empathetic and empathize with those people. Only when that happens, then they understand the research, because they connect their own physical suffering, eventually, that they've done with what these people are suffering through. We want to make the public in general, and hopefully the researchers, to create emotional bonds with what we write. So when I talk about poverty, when I talk about short stature, when I talk about obesity, when I talk about subjugation of women and domestic violence, I don't want people to look at me and say, oh, they're just poor people. No, I want people to really feel an emotional bond and connect with those people and understand that those people are not different than we are. They only were not so lucky and fortunate to live the way we do. And that's a very difficult thing to do, because the Maya, especially in Latin America, there's still a lot of racism against the Maya, and that brings a whole lot of prejudice about how they are not clever, how they are not clean, and it's terrible if we cannot make this emotional bond in a positive way. And then we have to create a mantra. We have to keep repeating, this is a blend of academic research and artwork. It's a blend of academic research and artwork. You have to keep repeating because it's different and people do not get it in the beginning. I got a lot of abuse. I mean, I got lots of good, praise when I started this. But I also got lots of prophets of doom from some of nice colleagues that told me, oh, are you getting money to show photos? Oh, do you think that's going to get you promoted? And they were like, well, why are you doing this? So you have to keep saying that, yes, you can show your research with nice photos, because people will look at the photos. They don't have any patience to read your papers. Okay, but you have to keep mantling about. Okay, then the project has to have specific attributes that it's unique. Otherwise, you get confused with other ones. And believe me, when you work with the Maya, and there's so many weird groups talking about the Maya and all those, pyramids, and then you touch a Maya and get enlightened by the old ancient wisdom, which is a lot of rubbish. But that was what promoted all this end of the world prophecy silliness that made people spend lots of money in atomic bunkers, because the world will end, but I will survive. Or if you go to a mountain in France, then when the aliens came and destroyed the world, they will take you with you. And this was all because of the calendar. So you just have to really separate what is science, how art and other fields will help portray your science, but stay away from all the nuts, because otherwise you're going to be totally engulfed by crazy people. And I'm assuming, of course, that none of you bought a bunker before the 21st of December of last year, otherwise you're going to be not liking me at this point. So the uniqueness of the project is that we definitely show science through art, and what we say is that behind each photo we have a piece of solid research. So I can show any photo of the collection, and at this point we have about 78 photos printed, 300 donated that are on digital in electronic forms, files, and we have many other artifacts, and we've done 5 exhibitions in 4 countries in 18 months. So science through art is what we do. We can start talking about our research. You point a photo and you have somebody talking about the research you've done, no matter the way you start talking about it. And this is an attribute that it's a sad project, but it's hopeful. People cannot deal with misery at all times. That's why you could not do this with refugees from Syria, or from all the people or the kids who are now going through lots of those war and displacement situations, because that's too emotionally aggressive for you to keep going. This project has beautiful photos. Even if they are sad, they are hopeful. So we create this feeling of hope when people want to connect, and these emotional bonds will be made through the art. Sometimes it's sad, but there's a little bit of hope. And that's what we want to create. The project signature is what I said. It's the color scheme that, because the background of these slides were changed, I cannot make my point anymore. The color scheme that we chose is based on the mural, and it's on those very earthly, warm colors that we, so the oranges, the yellows, the brownish, reddish. It has to be warm, and it has to provide some feeling of confidence and sun. That's why we have the logo as the little sun, okay? Which is totally different from the logos of the university. And that's a totally different branding. The colors of the university are cold and very bland. You have those, that African violet kind of thing. It gives you a different feeling. We want warm feelings when people associate with any part of the project. And then the project principle has also to be different. And our principle, as we work with the Maya as our partners, the Maya will benefit from the main outcomes of the project, either in terms of health outcomes for the kids, or nutrition outcomes for the mothers, or in terms of women's roles, in terms of more information about micromanagement of finances within the household, because we have people doing that. It will have to benefit the Maya people. It will have to go back to them, and we have to work with them, otherwise we don't know what they want. And most of our artists are Maya. So that's our main ideas in terms of the branding, and that's what we are still trying to not get out of these four circles here, because otherwise it gets too unmanageable, and God knows it's been too difficult. We have 9 research teams. 6 of these research teams are more developed. We are now developing these 3 more work childhood news. As you can see, for each of the teams on the website, you have pieces of the mural. So you keep banging the same main photo. Otherwise, especially in a project like that deals with so many photos, if you don't have a consistency, people will not associate. And at this point, everybody knows the mural, everybody knows the little bits. And we just, I did this artistic distortion because I want to create a feeling of unsettlement when people migrate. Some of the photographers in Mexico say, no, you cannot do this, it's horribly done, and you cannot manipulate those photos, so we are still discussing if I can do this or not. But so far, I'm doing it. Because I want to show that when you migrate, you have a big feeling of displacement and agitation. So we're gonna work with these 9 teams, and we are not going to do any more, because for each of them we'll have researchers and people doing work at several levels. Okay. The logo started to be really yellow, but then the yellow and the white sometimes doesn't do so well, so we manipulate it to get it a little bit more darkish. And because we are now, shall I say, outsourcing or whatever, we are using the Maya project model to work with minority communities around Charnood, and we are starting to work with Bangladeshi communities. So we are developing this Maya Global, because the principle is the same, but it doesn't work with Maya, works with other minority groups. And the first thing we are doing with the Bangladeshi community is they are photographing their foods, and they will do some sort of report about nutrition, and they perceive the health or not so healthy foods on the Bangladeshi diet. And it's going to be just with the ladies. So that's what we do. I didn't spend a lot of money on this because obviously I didn't have money. So if you need a logo, I went to this freelogoservices.com, and you just sign in, and then you say what kind of logo you want, and then they have nature or church or company, or you choose several categories, and then they just give you several possibilities, and you pay about £14, and you get not just this logo, but then you have to have the name of the project, and you choose the types of the letters and the size and the colors, and they will send you high definition little JPEGs or PNG files, where then you can put on letterheads, and then you can put on websites, and they give you several of them, and they give you one in black and white in case you need to do something that doesn't require color. And that costs about £14. So if you are poor like we are, you just do these. I'm sure that many more other people have, fancier things, but we have to do the best we can. So let's not forget, of course, that my research is in human biology and biomedical sciences. I cannot forget about that, otherwise I'll be in trouble with these people here. Okay, and I do research and enterprise. So it's difficult to put everything together and at the same time still have a little bit of life outside these walls, which I'm totally willing to continue to have a life outside this perimeter here. And we know that research, once upon a time, you did research, you did evidence-based research, and you were fine. You get promoted, you'd become professor, you would retire, and you just have to publish papers even if nobody read the papers. It is not like this anymore. So we are moving now to research and enterprise that has to be evidence-based, but also community relevant. Therefore, you need to produce outcomes for the community that are not PowerPoints with charts and with p-values and statistical significances. So what we have to do now, and we are in this stage now, and I think that's why you are all here, because you feel that you are doing research that also combines with enterprise, and that you have to have a positive impact, you have to have significance and reach outside academia. And to make this jump, it's difficult because this is very comfortable when we are just here, and we don't want to deal with people outside because they're weird. And if you are outside, they say, oh, those academics, they are really strange as well, so let's not mingle. But you do have to mingle, and especially if you do research with people, you will have to work with people where they live, which is outside of Loughborough University. So we have to keep this in mind. Now, to keep this in mind, let me see if this works. So you have the website here. These are the main topic. This shows all possible research themes. You can have little snippets of this chart, of this mural and put. So if you click on the website, you go to the real website, and then what we have to do now is, okay, you connect with the people. What do I do?
Pull it off the table, sorry.
Okay. So if we go to these research teams, and if I go here to the living conditions, what people see is a bunch of photos that they can do on a carousel. And for each of them, there's just a little bit of text here. And this is me. I mean, it's always good to put a photo of yourself doing something nice. In this case, it's my very short stature that compared to the Maya, I look like a giant, and it brings a big topic of research conversation about how very short height is so bad for all the health outcomes, and how come a full group of people that are 7 million around the world are capping in adult size at this level, that I look like a giant. And then we keep talking about all the bad living and all the social economic conditions of poverty and of the biology of being very poor. And we can keep going. So this is a nice carousel, but I'm not happy with it. But people, if they just want a superficial view of the project, they just look at the photos. They empathize with the photo. This is a beautiful photo. Look at the face of this man. Okay? And then you can just read a little bit about all the politics of the economics of Sisal, Henneken, that creates horrible conditions for these people. And if you don't want to do anything more, you at least learn a little bit more. That this is after Hurricane Wilma. So we can talk about all, climate change, poverty, and how can these people then now rehabilitate their lives. And it shows that Maya are real, and they are people, and they haven't been extinct. So we can just keep going. If you want an intermediate level of interest, you read what we've been having here. So you have to cater for different levels of interest, from very short sentences to eventually the full paper that you read, but it has to be step-by-step, otherwise people will not go. So what we achieve with this is that the first level is just the photos. The second level of engagement with the project is a little bit more. It's going to take you 5 minutes to read and then digest this information. And then if you want to really read the papers, you click here, read the science behind the photographs, and that takes you to a Mendeley reading list. And on the Mendeley reading list, you have the papers, and you can download PDFs if they are open access. Okay? Or you can just email me, and I'll give you the files. So And as you can see, even on the Mendeley reading list, we have the little snippets of the mural, so people don't get the visual connection lost in between a research tool that is Mendeley. Are you all aware of Mendeley? It's a good alternative to RefWorks. So you can also do these reading lists that then you can put just the links online and everybody gets. It's curated by me, so I'm the only one who can actually add papers to these topics. So we end up having several levels and several layers of interest. Now, I'm not very keen on this carousel of the photos because you can actually download the photos and then print them, and then we cannot sell them because you already have them. And we are a charity at this point, and we need to make money by selling these beautiful photos. So I'm not very keen on that. So we are going to change the carousels, and please don't download the photos unless you make a donation. But the point is, I'm not happy with this basic carousel that just swift. So what probably we're going to do in terms of showing the galleries will be, this is, are you aware of the Creative Cloud for Adobe Photoshop? There's one of, the Adobe Photoshop has lots of sub-programs and sub-software, and I'm using the Behance, which gives you, so if we click here, I did this for the Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. So if we click here, it will take you to this Behance.net, and the photos, I hope, will show up. Here we are. So instead of having the carousel of photos, you will have the photos as very high quality with a little bit of text, with the credits of the photographers, and you can't copy it. I mean, you can, but it will give you not such a high resolution photo, and it looks so much neater, and you can do it by topics. Okay, so this is about the Day of the Dead, which was last week. And you can actually put some films. This is a little bit of a film of the ebook that we are still doing. And it's great because then you can share them all, and you can just put all the social networking, just tweet here. So we're going to change the photos to this system. I'm almost done. Okay. So, sorry. So at the first level, we have the photos that brings general interest and just an initial invitation to the branding. We have the summary of each gallery that caters for an intermediate interest on the audience, and then you have the full paper for the researchers and for people who really want to do more than that. And then, of course, a different branding will be required because you will be using other software. But it basically works in 3 levels, and that's what we wanted. We want to reach the public in different levels and promote the research smoothly, so we are not too bombastic, read my paper. No, read, no. So anyway. Now, how do I spread the word about this? I mean, I don't have any much time, and you can see these very well, but the point is, I use the Hootsuite dashboard where I put all the Maya project online outputs. So we have Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. So if I write something here and then click send, it will go to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google with just one way of sharing, okay? And as you can see, I keep the logo in all of them except on LinkedIn, which is my own page, but that's my personal interest because I want to be seen as the director of this project in a more professional online source, which is LinkedIn. But because I'm also taking care of 5 Twitter accounts, because I'm in several associations of human biology, you don't see these very well, but the Maya project Twitter, which is here, it is also here, because if I want to disseminate my Maya project within the other societies, so I go here and I post, and then I go here and then I just retweet, and then it goes to all the other Twitter accounts that I manage. And I can deal with several outputs in 2 minutes, which, believe me, you want to save that time because otherwise it kills you. So the Maya project at this point has all of these social life online. Some of them I'm still not sure, so you don't feel the need to just go to everything that appears on you. We are still testing, for example, this Pinterest board, which is great if you want to post your daughter's drawings and artwork, but I'm not sure if for the Maya project, now that we have other, so it's a little bit redundant, but all the other ones work fine. And then that's it. Thank you very much.